Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Spot Real Talk. My name is Tiara.
I'm Tiffany.
And I'm Ron.
And Rhonda is out, but we're going to hold it down for her. We are going to be discussing today P-Valley. And, you know, a lot of people have been talking about this show, but we let the first season go by so we can kind of feel it out. But I think that, you know, now we have come to love the show and all of the characters. So it's a lot going on, and we are excited to finally be recapping for season 2.
Right, we heard y'all. They were hitting us up on our handles, our social media handles, and everything. Like, I can't believe y'all are not covering this show. So we heard y'all.
Yes.
We did indeed.
Mm-hmm. And if you guys hang tight, we'll get started in just a second. Everyone, we are back. Like I said, we're talking P-Valley. This was season 2, episode 1. It was titled P-Land. I'll just say that so we don't get dinged by YouTube for language.
Yeah, well, I think we're over and above that one.
Right.
Yeah, indeed.
If you're watching the show, you're going to have to get down with some language.
Right.
So where last season left off, you know, the finale last season, Murda Night was a big hit, but a couple people got hit. And the fallout from that, you know, it was a mess a little bit. Chuck Lisa will never be the same after that Murda Night. And, you know, the Pynk was in a little bit of trouble. It was facing foreclosure and getting ready to be auctioned off. But Autumn kind of came to the rescue after she was able to use her ex's money. You know, it seemed like that it was a little uncertainty on whether he had died the first time around, but this second time, once she got him in that room, they took him out.
Yeah, it's clear. It's clear now.
Yeah, so he's dead and gone, and she gets to escape with all of his money, which she used to purchase the Pynk last season. So her and Uncle Clifford are now partners in ownership of the Pynk. So this season, we get to kick things off, and this is pandemic time still for them. And it seems like they have gotten very inventive with how they are working around the pandemic to keep money in people's pockets.
I like
Listen,
that creativity.
That opening scene was bomb. It was the cinematography for the opening scene was awesome. I was like, okay, and Mercedes put it down.
Yeah, she did.
Yes, she did.
And we noticed the gentleman who was going through the drive-thru, that's Darnell from The Chi.
Yeah,
look, he stayed looking for skirts, don't he? It don't matter what show.
The funny part about that, he had church on to the left, P-Valley to the right, you know, and he kept going, church,
look,
tits,
the word or titties. Titties went out.
No matter what option he chose, he said, to hell with them kids in that party at the house.
Exactly.
He was over all that noise.
Yeah, brother took the car wash route. Yeah, hey, look, I don't have any 7-Elevens looking like that, though. You know, he's supposed to be going to 7-Eleven. I don't know.
Yeah, but it went to car wash. Like got the Mercedes experience.
Yeah, I really love that. Like you said, the cinematography was dope, and that is actually a really super dope idea.
It really was.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, I mean, pandemic or not, I think that should be. I mean, if you are into that type of thing.
I mean, a drive-through.
Hey, look, don't be surprised if you find one of those in your red light district coming to a red light district near you. You know, I can see it. I can see it.
Yeah. And so with that, you know, they're kind of arguing too about how to divvy up the money that they get from that. And we can see that there's some tension brewing because with Autumn, you know, coming into being a new owner, her and Uncle Clifford have some differences in how they want to run things. And then you could also see that there's a little bit of tension between Autumn and Mercedes because of Autumn wanting to bring in new girls. And that's going to make the pot get split up amongst more people. So Mercedes is like, I'm not really feeling this idea.
Let's talk about that for a minute though, because I'm with Mercedes. I feel Autumn, but I'm with Mercedes. You bring in more people, you're going to water down what you already have. And right now, you got pandemic, you got Uncle Clifford trying to, you know, spot all the girls to keep them available during the pandemic. So you paying them, I think he said like $50K a year. And so he's like trying to do that. And then you're going to water that down and bring in more girls.
A lot of that money though. I was like, dang, that is a lot of money.
Well, yeah, but
listen,
I don't know.
I'm just laughing. I'm about to get out there, but anyway, I was laughing. I agree with what you're saying, Ron, with Autumn. However, the other thing with Mercedes, you know, you can tell that she hurt her shoulder. Like she's been carrying the weight for 5 months. Like the other girl's been doing that thing too, but Mercedes is the head chick for sure. And so her shoulder is injured and she's just pushing through. And I think part of what Autumn is saying, like I see both sides. Mercedes is like, you're gonna be spreading the money too thin if you get more girls. However, Mercedes is hurt. Like it would take a little pressure off her if she had some other girls. And I feel like Mercedes doesn't want to be eclipsed too, because, you know, you can see that even when she saw the clip of Mississippi in my crooked ladder.
That's the thing though. You know, you look
jealous. You look a little jealous.
Those feelings was there last season when Mississippi had to headline her night. You know,
and number two, Mercedes was supposed to be retiring. So, you know, at some point, let's go. You know, you got to let that next girl, which is Keyshawn, you know, because Keyshawn put it down for opening night with Murda.
That's what I said, Mississippi.
So, hey, so why not have her be the front runner?
She's gone.
I was about to say.
Well, yeah, but you know, she's gone for a reason, you know. So because you know, she would never, you know, the thing that was that whole storyline between Keyshawn and Mercedes, because Mercedes was not going to allow her to take her spot.
Well, the other part now is that they have like this issue with Keyshawn because number one, she glued up, you know, she on TV, she's ready to do her tour with Lil Murda. And so the issue also is how she did Diamond because she pulled a gun on him. And they were like, you don't do that to family, as they call it. So they have a big issue with her and I had a big issue with her.
I did too. I was mad at her for that because I was like, wow. I mean, Diamond was riding for you. You can tell he's in love with that girl.
And not only that, you know, I could see where she was thinking. I could see what she was thinking, you know, that's my baby's, you know, daddy, but your baby's daddy is beating you up and you want your daughter to, I mean, your baby to grow up with that kind of visual. And Diamond was just trying to protect you and your baby. So, you know, you should have let Diamond beat the hell out of that boy and send him on his way. But you're going to pull a piece on Diamond. Diamond was going to kill him. He was going to kill him.
Yeah, he was. Well, he called him,
And he did that.
Yeah, she really doesn't know her baby daddy like she thinks she does, because when she had the confrontation and she ran into Diamond, she was trying to explain herself, but he wasn't really trying to hear it. And so she was kind of like, he told her what her baby daddy had said, calling them like gutter niggas or whatever. And she was like, oh, he wouldn't say anything like that. And I'm like,
he's abusive and she's lost because you can see at the end, and I know I'm probably skipping ahead, but when she was in there, you know, with the baby, she has some colorism, some self-hate issues. And it made me think of the book by Toni Morrison, The Bluest Eye, and it was about a young Black girl who just was praying that God would make her into a white woman with blue eyes and things. And when she was telling the story about how she wanted the long hair and the bundles and everything, and she was like, and saying to the baby, long hair like you're gonna have, Rico. So I'm just saying, so she has this image in her head, and and that was probably part of the attraction with her getting together with that dude there.
Because I know everybody was like, a white guy. Like everybody was shocked when they finally seen who her baby daddy was. So I think you're definitely right about that, and her issues with her, the way she views herself and the way she views her children. So it's definitely odd, and you could tell that she is kind of being held hostage by him because he is so insecure.
Oh my God, she is being held hostage because he was just like, when she said, I can't wait to get back in front of those crowds. He was like, oh, you gonna be in the room.
Yeah.
And then she had to fake like she threw the Pampers away just so she can get out to go to the store. I was like, wow.
Crazy. And that's how she wants to live. That's the part that gets me. She
doesn't really.
Well, yeah, but look, there's only one way out. That's out. You can't halfway out this. You either get rid of them, altogether, or because he has nothing to offer you. You're making the money.
You know what though? A lot of people who are in abusive relationships, it's very difficult for them to leave.
And it
makes people who are on the outside, it's even like, just leave. And we know that the person needs to leave. They know they need to leave. But it's hard for people who are actually in those abusive relationships to leave.
And I understand that.
It works when she's the breadwinner, and that's going to do something to him. Like, he's going to feel maybe a little jealousy or envy because she is the one breaking in all the cash, and he feels like useless. Like all he can really do is care for the kids.
Well, he even said that.
Like when there's the role reversal there, they feel intimidated by a woman that can make that kind of money.
But he said that to her. You're the only one working. While I'm sitting here, blah blah blah. Well, that's your fault, bro.
Yeah,
you want to work, get your ass up and work. That's your fault, bro. That ain't her fault. She's trying to hold it down, and you sitting there complaining. You ain't doing nothing. You ain't trying to work. So, I'm sorry.
Well, he did say he had an interview, but she made him stay back to watch the kids while she was doing her promos and whatnot.
Yeah, because she said she had endorsements though. Because now that guy Rome is managing her, and so she was like, I have another live at 3. So and that it was an endorsement deal and something else that she had on the line too. So
yeah, so it seemed like everybody has gotten creative with how they making their money during their pandemic, and you seen Lil Murda also cooking up, getting into his creative bag. And I was like, the music on this show is so good. Like, I was to his little tape.
Listen, I streamed that joint. I had that joint bumping in the car.
Yeah, the music is always on point. I will give them that because I was like, okay, I'm feeling this.
Yeah, I like the music.
Yeah, I like Lil Murda, and what he can put out. I think what he needed was a little inspiration, which he got from, I forget the young man's name that was doing his production piece for him.
Oh, Never Scared.
Never Scared. So, he got that, and I think that was a good workout, and it was a good look with Murda and Keyshawn too. That was a good look. But see, Keyshawn's gone above and beyond now, so I don't know what Lil Murda's going to do.
Well, they're about to go on tour because at the end of the episode, Keyshawn was like, "Look, we can do this 12 tour."
Since she sent him a text and said we call it the Dirty Dozen tour.
Yeah, so
it's a good look for the two of them.
I was a little worried for Lil Murda though, because when them dudes rolled up, I was like, when you start get popping, people.
Yeah. This is foreshadowing, and then when I saw the colors, I was like, "Oh, they gang banging too."
Yeah,
I was worried
because I'm still worried. I'm still worried. I'm worried. So I hope nothing happens to him. One of the things, speaking of Lil Murda, the actor that plays Lil Murda, Alphonse, he plays the drums in real life, from what I understand. So, I like to see when they bring like the the talents of the actors into the storyline.
Yeah, that was dope. And you could tell Uncle Clifford still got some beef with him too, because them unread messages that, I mean, it seems like they haven't communicated in quite some time.
5 months.
Yeah, and when Uncle Clifford seen him on the TV, his music video, he was kind of like, turn this off. I was like, it's still some hard
had a little
feelings
breakdown.
there.
He had a little breakdown when he saw Little Murda live on TV, or at least.
Yeah, because the girl was talking about him too. She was like, "Oh, he got that pandemic weight, like, he blowed up and stuff." They were over there salivating.
Yeah, he used Keyshawn as a scapegoat, saying, you know, we not looking at Keyshawn in there. So I'm like, yeah, that ain't really all it's about, though.
Right.
But it's gonna be interesting to see, because like I said, with the dynamics of how things are going, it's gonna be some tension. And I can tell that with Autumn being in an ownership position, I think she feels awkward because she's trying not to be overbearing and seem like she's better than everybody else just because she now has an ownership stake. But she also helped Mercedes get her gym. So that was a dope thing. But I think that Autumn feels indebted to Mercedes a little bit, because she was actually the one who pulled the trigger on her ex. And I'm like, that, because you could tell Mercedes went crying to her mom, and her mom really wasn't trying to, you know, have anything to do with her. And so I was like, I think that
after they got in that fight,
PTSD from like having to kill that guy. And I think she just wanted some support in that moment, but her mom really wasn't trying to hear her.
Because she had put paws on her and stuff too. Even our mom is a trip. Speaking of glowed up,
yeah,
her mom is like the female TD Jakes.
She is.
She's on billboards and everything and stuff. Like, she's got CDs.
Yeah, so, and that's what I think that this kind of plays into it, because since Mercedes did that for Autumn, I think Autumn feels like, dang, I can't do Mercedes dirty because of what she did for me to help me get out of my situation.
Let me get back to Autumn, or Hailey, for a minute, because if you remember in episode 1, she's a bona fide accountant. And
she is.
And Big L needs to step aside and let her do her thing. And Uncle Clifford, if he wants to stay in the profit zone, he needs to listen to Autumn, because, you know, she's got that financial, you know, mentality, and she knows how to handle money, you know, because Uncle Clifford's already looking at another loan to grab. And y'all just went through $250,000.
They got 25 left. That's nothing.
Really?
Well, and look, she also said to him, which is why I'm wearing this t-shirt. I'm wearing a t-shirt because it has the pink, represent for the pink, but it says, I need money for a Birkin. T-shirt. And that's what he did with the money. He bought a Birkin bag, because when he went to go get the chitlins, he had the Birkin bag on.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I was like, ooh.
He better hope market value. Well, of course it has. Most of those Birkins go up in value, so he better be able to flip it.
But he's not.
Yeah.
Because it's right now, to me, it's looking like it won't be long before Autumn is back on the pole, even though she's owner. And I'm like, that's not ideal, because of course you're trying to level up. You don't want to be going back to your old stomping grounds as an owner.
Well, Big L, you heard what he said to Darnell. Look, I'm still calling him Darnell. But in the beginning, when he wanted to see Autumn on the pole, he was like, you don't want to see her. Right. He commented on her dancing last season. And he was like, you know, he said, you know, the yellow Effers they know they don't have to dance.
Yeah. And so, yeah, I really don't think it'll be long though, but we'll see how things play out. And of course we know that they definitely have some new casting, that a couple of new people. Gail Bean is going to be on the show. And we know, I think her name is Miracle. She's going to be on the show as well. So I wonder, I'm thinking they'll be brought in as the new dancers, but you know, we'll see how the season plays out.
Yeah, there's another woman that's supposed to be a new dancer too, but yeah, I think he's gonna be Miracle's gonna be Diamond's love interest. It's getting past the Keyshawn situation.
Yep. And you know, one less problem they have to worry about is Mr. Tydell Ruffin, because he has unfortunately passed away from COVID. So you know, they're bringing the reality of the situation into the storyline, because a lot of people did pass And of course, we seen with Andre and his wife, being back in Atlanta, she's coming back from a shift and being extra precautious about staying on a lower level of the house to not infect Andre. And he gets the bad news, which he seemed like the pandemic, he got into like a slump because he got laid
off. He got laid off because that didn't go through, and it reminded me of Lawrence in Insecure in the beginning. Remember how in the beginning of Insecure, Lawrence was kind of scruffy and stuff. Andre hair ain't cut. He just playing NBA Live. He playing video games, and the wife reminded me of my aunt is a nurse, and she told me she had to do the exact same thing. So I appreciate that the show is being very realistic.
Yeah, it's true to what happened.
But Andre Watkins got to pay more attention to his wife because, look, I get it. You don't have a job and you're sitting around playing NBA Live or whatever you're playing. But, she tried to hit you up 3 times because she needed something. And she was trying to stay clean and stay away from the main part of the house. And she's hitting you up 3 times and you just, you blowing it off playing the game. I get
but he had the phone.
Yeah, we didn't answer it. That's the point. And
he had the phone was in the kitchen. It wasn't even near now.
And then the call for his uncle's death.
And then when Hailey calls, he snatches the phone out of his wife's hand. Because she's like, "Who's Hailey?"
Who's Hailey?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm surprised she must have been too tired. Yeah, she was off her condolences, but I was like, she must have been too tired because she let it ride. Because if anybody else would have really been the way he acted,
gonna be too long before she figure out what's going on because she's already kind of hip.
I think she's already hip.
But I mean, what's going on? When he snatched the phone back, so that would have really raised eyebrows. I mean, she probably was too tired to pursue it in that moment. You
can bet on that because sisters don't let that go. They don't let that go.
No, I wouldn't let that ride. Right. I wouldn't let that ride. Right, you moving so fast.
Exactly. And so it looks like it won't be long before Andre gets pulled back into Chucalissa. So they really might be going through some things in their marriage, with him coming back to the area and being away from her while she has to stay in Atlanta and work, not unless she's a traveling nurse and she can come with them.
They're not doing, she probably those shifts. And that funeral was interesting. It reminded me, it looked like something that New Orleans would do.
Yeah, it did. The colors and everything.
Yeah, and how they looked like they were marching with
celebrating
stuff. Celebrating. It did remind me of like New Orleans.
Yeah. Yeah, it was true to Tydell though, because that was definitely his style, the bright colors. And then they had, everything kind of decked out. I didn't realize he had so many children. And his youngest was 1 year old.
Just one. Oh my goodness, all the different baby moms, right?
Yeah, it was a little bit of a mess there, but the adult children were his pallbearers, and Andre decided to stay and give a word or whatnot. And of course, by the end of the episode, we see that the Kyles are trying to pull him back in. So Wayne is the interim mayor, and they are still trying to actively work on this casino.
How much money did Wayne give? Did Wayne give Andre? Did he ever say?
It was $500,000, wasn't it?
Was it $500,000?
I believe so. It was a big chunk of money.
Was that Wayne? Was that Wayne?
Yeah, it was Wayne.
I thought it was the other guys.
Put the money on the porch.
Yeah, who put the money on the porch? I think that was Wayne.
Yeah.
Listen, when Andre spoke at that funeral, he was sounding like The Rock. I was like, I was like, I think Andre gonna run for mayor or something.
Yep.
Because when Kyle or whatever,
Wayne Kyle,
the interim mayor, when he said like, well, since no one is running against me, when he said something like that, I was like, I was like, Andre gonna jump in that race, watch.
And I think Uncle Clifford, he said that he might throw his hat in the race as well.
Yeah, well, I'll keep it down. I'll keep it
But
low.
I mean, I know because it seems like a lot of the community embraces Uncle Clifford, but they also down there in the Bible Belt. So
that's the problem.
Some people have very strong views about being transgender or cross-dressing or whatever.
Oh yeah.
Well, Uncle Clifford, I didn't think he was really sis, but he said I'm the mayor of P Valley.
Right.
And stuff. So I think he was just kind of putting dude in his place. I really think the Andre really gonna run.
And that would be a good look too for Andre. I think he should. I think he really should go for it.
But the problem would be is where would his loyalties lie? Because it seems like him and Autumn, he kind of has a little bit of an issue with her because of how things ended between them last time.
But he's still attracted.
He's still hooked on Hailey.
The two of them, like you can feel the tension between them two. I'm like,
they got that magnet.
I really like you and I'm intrigued by you, but also you kind of did me dirty on my deal.
Oh, absolutely. But it's his fault because he kind of did let her have it. He let her have it. So he can't totally blame her. And so I think there's gonna be some escalation in that relationship this season.
They got a very strong magnetism. So it's gonna be interesting how it plays out with his wife, with Andre's wife. Mm-hmm. That's gonna be real interesting because she ain't the type to let things go. It doesn't look like that.
No, I think they might be headed for Splitsville, because I'm just like, it's gonna be difficult if he does decide to stay in Georgia. Like, is it gonna be a long distance thing, or are they just gonna decide to go their separate ways? And she'll be like, my life is here in Atlanta.
Yep.
I can see her approaching Autumn.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Another big problem they had on their hands is as they were preparing for the reopening of the peak, they went through, and good thing they did, combing through that room with like a fine-tooth comb, because as the lights that Big L had just installed were kind of lit up, it was highlighting the blood that was still on the walls.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, yeah, y'all better get that tight, because the last thing they need is for somebody to have a murder charge.
And did you see how Hailey was like, yeah, because you need to paint it red because blood stains seep through, and they both looking at her, and I'm like, you sound like a serial killer over there. Like, what you doing over there?
Look, I cut out that part of the board, put another piece there.
Right.
And
whole new drywall, new carpet, everything.
Cut that drywall out, cut a big section out, put it back in, paint, be done with it. Burn that other piece, be done with it.
Yeah, because it's really it's not worth trying to cover it up and having that in the back of your mind all the time.
All the time, yeah.
So, yeah, I do feel like that's gonna come back up though, because the guy that Autumn was dating, like, he wasn't a nobody. Like, he was a well-off guy, and he was like, it seemed like he was the leader of that group, that gang that he was involved with. So I think it's only a matter of time before people start sniffing around trying to figure out what happened to him, where did he go. And Uncle Clifford and them, they kind of insinuated that they had taken care of the situation. How, we still haven't seen, but I guess we can assume that they're capable of getting rid of a body without leaving any traces, at least we hope. So, yeah, still a lot to be seen this season. And do you guys have anything that you're looking forward to seeing, or tying up any situations from last season that you want to see in this new one?
Well, I'm interested to see how this tour gonna turn out with Keyshawn and Murda. I think that's gonna be hot, because I really, last season, I enjoyed the Murda Night and stuff before all the mayhem. I thought that they put it down. So I'm interested in seeing the music and seeing the tour. Interested to see where it's gonna go with Andre and Hailey. I like Hailey, Autumn and Mercedes relationship. They're kind of like sisters or whatever and stuff. So I don't really want to see them on the outs, but we'll see. We'll see. And Mercedes, seems like she has reason to be mad at Keyshawn. Everybody should have been mad at Keyshawn for the way she did Diamond. But I also feel like she feels a little jealous though. Like she's like she's being outshined, like Keyshawn is out there and stuff, and she was supposed to be the headliner and stuff, and so we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, I'm wondering about her daughter, the situation if she's ever gonna get her daughter back, because I know last season she was fighting to get visitation and have custody back at some point. So that's still another situation. And now that the gym is, it seems like people can't afford to send their kids to her gym. That's going to be an issue for her being able to make money from it.
That and plus some of them, most of it was money, but some of the parents was like, I ain't ready to send my kid back either. They're still trying to be, so some people are still gun shy about that either. Like, no,
right,
I ain't letting my kid go.
Yeah. What about you, Ron?
Well, I think there's going to be a rift between Hailey and Mercedes, and one of the reasons is because that shoulder of Mercedes isn't going to get any better without probably surgery, and of course we know Mercedes can't afford it.
And she doesn't want to. That's taking money away too.
Well, I think a lot of it has to do with the money. But I think that
so too. But I think that she thinks, if you have surgery, you gotta recover. And so she's probably thinking the longer I'm away.
Well, that's where I was headed. The rift is going to be because, I think that as a manager, Autumn is going to have to step it up and say, you got to go. And I think that's going to be where that rift lies. Because you have your shoulder injury. The last thing you need to be is at the top of a pole, and that shoulder gives out, and you come crashing down. So you got to take your own, And I think Hailey is passionate enough to figure that out. If Mercedes hasn't already, I think there's going to be a rift between Keyshawn and Lil Murda even after the tour, because Keyshawn is looking at her numbers. And for every video, her numbers are just climbing.
She is the draw.
Yeah, and
she is the draw.
She is the draw, and Lil Murda doesn't look like a follower. So if he can't follow Keyshawn, then there's going to be a problem.
Give her money yet?
Right. She's looking for her stacks, and Lil Murda ain't trying to give it up. So there's going to be a rift there too.
Yeah, because it seemed like everybody got the problem with Keyshawn because of how much shine she's getting. So the people at the Pynk feel that way. And I think it's only a matter of time before Lil Murda starts expressing that same thing.
Yeah.
He knows it. He knows. Like when he talked to Wody was what's the draw for people to come out in a pandemic? Keyshawn. Exactly. He needs her.
Right.
Yeah. And so it's a lot of stuff that we can look forward to this season that I'm excited about. Definitely glad to have the show back, and I'm glad they touched on the pandemic and how it affected everything and kind of brought in the realism of the situation. So yeah, I thought it was a spectacular opening for the season.
It was. I was like, y'all came with it. Y'all came with it.
See the previews for the season, the trailer. Yeah, it looked like it's gonna be a great season. So I'm looking forward to it. I will be tuned in. So now it aired Friday, but going forward, it will be Sunday. So everybody just make sure you're aware of that. But yeah, overall, I'm excited about the season. I can't wait to hear LaWanda's thoughts when she joins us next week or the week after next, I believe. Yeah, so she'll give her input as well.
And so we'll be airing the show regularly starting Sundays.
Yes.
Yeah. So definitely keep us in mind. I know we're behind, but we're gonna bring it. So
and we have some other surprises for y'all too.
Yes, we do. So stay tuned. Make sure that you subscribe to our channel, like this video. Also drop down in the comment section. Let us know what you thought about this season opener. And then make sure you also go and follow us on all social media. We are at The Spot Real Talk on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, all the social media platforms. You guys got anything else you want to add before we close out?
Sure.
All right. Well, thank you guys again for watching. And please make sure you are back here next week when we come back to recap episode 2. Have a good night.
Bye-bye.
Bad little flex, she wanna know me. I stay low key, all gas, no brakes, baby, let them hoes sleep. Body on 10, make your girl OD. I get in my way, never out of my lane. Feel like you the one and I'm on one.